I think I have like probably $2 between all my bank accounts. And I sort of just bought like as much food as I can, try to ration it until I get paid. Like even if I don't eat for a day or two, I'll still be alive. Then I'll get paid. Then I'll be fine. I was talking to my friends about this. It was actually on one of your podcasts. If you just push through the pain now, like if you lean into the pain, then later in life, you'll be perfectly fine, pretty much. You won't have that midlife crisis or anything like that.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
I'm doing good, dude. Where are you right now?
I'm at the local public library because they have Wi-Fi, and right now it's about 90 degrees out, so staying here for the day.
Bro, that's a good idea. I should have gone to a library. Are you in like a room or something?
Yeah, so there's this like separate room. It's called like a quiet room, but the library's empty anyways, so like it's just completely quiet in here with no one
Damn.
around. So it's super
Bro,
nice.
I should have 100% done that. I'm in a Jack in the Box parking lot right now.
Yeah.
God, the life, dude. Oh my God, I'm so excited to talk to you. We'll just jump straight in because I usually have notes, but like this, so to you watching, you listening right now, um, this is Jordan. He reached out to me over Instagram, just like a quick message. And he was like, "Hey man, I live in my car. You live in your car. Let's talk." And so I was like, "Hell yes, dude!" Because I've been trying to. I've had a couple people who I'm supposed to schedule with a they're like in a van life thing, and it's like like a little more glorious than I think what we're doing. And
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
kind of fallen through recently. So when you hit me up, I was like, "Yo, perfect fucking timing." So I'm super excited to get into it. Welcome back to the Joyage. I'm Cage, your god of your place in the voice I dread for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like in this video so that other people can find the Voyage at Joyage Podcast on TikTok and Instagram for all updates and everything related to podcasts. Make sure you're following that. And yeah, man, let's get this podcast underway. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 19.
19
I
years old.
graduated high school in 2020, like right when COVID originally started. And so I've just been working, no college for me right now. So just work basically.
Shit. Shit. So, I mean, we'll just go straight into it. Why the fuck you living in a car? What are you doing? Why?
Uh, so it was actually some family issues going way, way back. So the breaking point was one day I walked into my house after an 8 hour shift, and there was a stranger in there, someone I didn't know who it was, and he was smoking inside the house right next to all my stuff. You know, I had to be professional for my job, my old job. And so that was sort of the breaking point. It goes a long ways back. Used to work for my father in construction, got paid about $3 an hour.
Oh,
So just a long history of family problems. So that one day I packed up pretty much everything I cared about, like all the clothes I could fit in my car, and I just left and decided like I got to make it on my own. I can't live here anymore.
holy shit. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How long ago was that you said?
That was June 26th of this year. So it's just about 2 months now.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, I left a little bit before you. I think I left at some point in May. I'm coming up on a little over 3 months, I think. But totally different reasons, I guess, why we're living in a car. And I was super interested when you had messaged me and we're just basically like I'm living in a car, and I just had to know what was going on with that. But so where are you from?
I'm not going to say exactly, but I'm in Wisconsin,
Wisconsin
and
area?
you know this summer has been kind of rough because living in the car in Wisconsin in the summer is very hot and humid. So kind of looking forward to fall, and it's nice having the library because it's nice and cool. But yeah, in Wisconsin for now.
100%, man. I could not live in this car if I didn't have a hybrid. That's the only reason I can do this. What kind of car do you have?
It's It's a Hyundai Elantra, the touring version, so it's like the hatchback. So it's pretty roomy, and it gets by. You know, it does
So
its job.
I'm curious. So I'm able to leave my car on 24/7. My car is like a running battery that charges itself, and I have a generator in here, so and that runs on my car battery, so I have basically just a never-ending battery. That is without a doubt the only reason I've been able to make this work. I would have killed myself long ago if I had no AC. If like, how are you making it work without a car that's like that?
So I actually had my battery die twice, so that was no fun. The first time was probably worse because I wasn't really I wasn't in the area where I am now, where I have access to water and food and stuff like that. I was kind of just in a parking lot, like ready to, calm down for the night, go to bed, stuff like that. So when I was there, that was probably, it took about a day to get it back up and running. The second time, I kind of just buckled down, decided I'll just get AAA, I'll get them out here, and I'll have them jumpstart my car. Then right after that, I went to Walmart and bought a like jumper cable myself.
Wow. Would you say, because I mean, as you alluded to earlier, this wasn't exactly like, for me, this was the best decision of my life. It doesn't seem like that maybe was the case for you when you originally left, but I assume you feel like maybe you've lived many, many more months than you've actually lived in the past couple months. For me, since May, I feel like I've lived an entire lifetime. It feels like for fucking ever. What has it been like for you?
It's the strangest thing for me. It feels like, although I don't have much right now, a lot of the time I don't have much money or food or anything like that. All my friends live an hour away from me, so I see them maybe 2 to 3 times a month. But even though I don't have much, I've never been happier just because of that unlimited freedom. Right now I don't have an apartment or a house, so if I wanted to, I could sort of just go like wherever I want, do whatever I want. It hasn't been the greatest at points, especially when you're low on money. And I know I'm not getting paid for another week or something, but it's not been the worst. I try
Yeah.
to stay positive. I've definitely had a lot of fun times. I've been going to the beach almost every day, so that helps a lot.
So you're staying in like your area. So like for me, I'm moving. I'm constantly like, I mean, I'm staying in a I'll stay in a state for a few weeks if it's a state that I'm considering moving to. But that was like one of the big reasons I left, is because I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and so because I don't know how familiar you are with, like, how familiar are you with my stuff? Did you just find me? Was it the podcast? Was it my other YouTube? Or
So I actually found it through the Instagram Reels. It was one of your clips from the podcast. And I think it
okay,
was actually the one where you said you were living in your car, and that's what made me interested in the first place because I could relate so much. So I think about 2 weeks now I've known about you, and I've been watching the podcast back like as much as I can when I get time.
hell, dude, thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot, obviously, since mainly because I just like, it's just starting. It's a small thing, and I love doing it. It's so fun for me, and it gives me opportunity. I mean, this is so random. Like, this would never happen in real life, and it is happening. It's really really cool to be able to connect with people. Um, so yeah, so I've been traveling. That was the main goal here. Are you staying in your hometown even? Like, are you? I mean, I don't know if you wanted to say, but like, what are kind of your goals moving forward? Are you trying to like get back into a normal routine as quick as possible, get a job, get back on like your 2 feet kind of thing, or are you like, let me just run with this for a while, let me see what happens?
So I was in my hometown for a little while, but the job I had wasn't really paying enough. It was only 12.25, which was decent for the job I had. I worked at a thrift store, so it was pretty easy, decent
Nice.
pay. But for someone who's looking for an apartment, you need a little bit more than that. So I work full time now with just like a fast food restaurant. I'm not going to say which one, but 15 an hour there. So I am probably going to keep that for a little while longer until I can get on my feet. Then I'm going to try to find something even better than that.
Hell yeah, man. Um, for me, when I was in Minnesota, I went to go visit my friend Shota and and Maddie up there, and I hadn't been working. I had basically saved up a few $1,000s. I had made a couple lucky investments, and I was like, I'm just gonna run with this, see what happens. And I ran out quicker than I thought. I was starting to run out really quick, and I was like, okay, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because I'm not ready to stop. I just got started. It feels like. And so he was like, hey man, you should DoorDash. And it makes more sense for me because I have a hybrid car. I get ridiculous gas mileage, um, and hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed, knock on wood. But we got a new battery in there within like the last year, so it should be theoretically should be fine. Hopefully, it's been making some weird sounds. I don't know if you can hear it from that angle, but this car, if it's idling for too long, it'll make this weird sound. Like every 12 seconds, it'll just go like, and then it'll stop. And then it'll do it every like 10, 12 seconds. And then the AC is making like the slightest little buzz sound. And I'm like, ah, man. Because when you're DoorDashing, you're driving. And then like, I'm in my car a lot. But have you thought about DoorDashing as a
I actually, yeah, I actually signed up just a few days ago. I haven't really done anything because it costs money for gas and stuff like that, which I don't really have now. But on my days off, which are every Tuesday and Wednesday, I kind of plan on just doing that like as long as I can and any other time that I can find time, just for a little bit of extra income. Definitely.
bro, you're in luck because a few weeks ago I made a YouTube video on my other YouTube channel, and it's how to DoorDash 101 basically, and it's a fire fucking video. Lots of value in there. You can make a lot of money DoorDashing, bro. You can make like if I'm in a good place and I want to roll, I can make $30 an hour, easy.
Yeah,
Um,
easily.
it's stupid and it's the easiest shit ever. Like I don't do fucking anything. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, it's like I haven't really done it much. Well, I tried to do a few deliveries. I forgot I didn't have any data on my phone, so the app just didn't
Oh
work. So I had
no,
to return them and cancel the orders. Still got half pay, which is good.
nice.
But once I get data, definitely going to be something just going to be doing nonstop.
Yeah, it's
I even saw that it gives you like the peak hours tip. And I saw that near me, there's like a $5 an hour extra or the $5 extra per. So
Yeah, with the peak campaigns, you have to be careful though because some of them, like one time I drove 2 hours out of my way to this place that it said $5 peak pay, and it said if you deliver 10 deliveries in 2 weeks, we'll give you $300 or something. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, easy. So I drove over there. It was fucking dead. And like there was only like one dasher in like the whole town. That's why it was like a peak pay. Cause they're like, we literally just need one more person. And I ended up sitting there for like 4 hours. I made like one delivery, and I was like, ah, damn it. So sometimes if it's like really, really high peak pay, it's like a scam, or it'll be like in the big city where you go in and like it's like horrible tips because it's all like college students. It's like there's no parking. You got to go in all the apartments. So they're gonna have a pretty steep learning curve like that first week, and you're gonna learn so much. But dude, once you got it, DoorDashing is the way to go. It's the way to go.
because my first one was actually from Walmart, and I think it was like 6 orders. It was like half a bag full for each person. I think like $5 per person. That's an easy $25 if I had the resources to do it. That's easy money. Pretty much
Yeah,
just driving around, dropping stuff off.
it's hella easy, bro. And it's funny because I had that mentality at first, and like the more I've done it, the lazier I've gotten. And so I started staying away from Walmart even because sometimes, like one time I did a Walmart delivery, and I didn't know how it worked. So it was basically just an experiment. I was like, okay, everyone says not to do Walmart orders, but I'm gonna see why everyone hates it. So I got it. And they handed me like 75 bags, and I got it, and I was like, wait, so do I have to take all these bags out of like put them in my car, take them out of my car, drop them all off? I ended up taking like 6 trips to take all like from my car to the door of the car, and I was just like, oh, fuck that, dude. I've gotten hella lazy. Like sometimes it'll be an extra mile out of my way to do like a double order, and I'll just be like, nah. You know?
Yeah,
But
I was extremely scared the first time I did it because I walked in, it said one delivery. So I picked that up, took it out to my car. I looked at the app and it says 5 more deliveries. And I'm like, what? I
oh
didn't want to get those because you can choose how long you want to do it. So I just chose like a half hour from when I was doing it just to try one out. But then it gave me like five other deliveries. So I'm like, I'm going to be here a while, aren't I? But I had
Yeah,
to
man.
cancel them anyway. So kind of worked out.
Yeah, it was a good learning curve. That first week was a little scary. You know, that first couple deliveries, you're like, you don't know where to go, how to be, and it's like awkward. And you know, the workers don't really give a shit about you. They just want you out as soon as possible. Um, it's an interesting time, bro, but it's cool because it really, it gives me at least, it gives me a sense of kind, I guess, independence even more so because I'm my own boss. Like I don't give a shit. Like they can't tell me anything. There's no boss to yell at me. It's just like I can cancel if I want to. I can literally take the food and go if I want it. I mean, I'm not going to, but like I could. And so that feeling is really really good, and that's something I've grown a lot with. Like everything has been independent. I haven't had a boss, and I don't know. I'm changed forever. I'm really curious as to like what your future will be like, but in what ways do you think you've changed already in just a couple of months?
Yeah. So probably the biggest thing is I try not to take anything for granted now. Before, like my childhood growing up, we weren't rich or poor. We were like middle class. So the refrigerator's always full, freezers full, pantries full. I have nice clean clothes, everything like that. But once you're on your own, it's like you have to feed yourself three times a
Uh,
day and snacks and all of that. And even the smaller things like running water, bathrooms. Luckily, I have a gym membership, but bathrooms, showers, anything like that. Even air conditioning. Like it's all these small things that you don't even realize that you have until it's gone. Then you're like, I wish
bro,
I had that really bad.
the fucking laundry. I cannot tell you how bad I hate doing laundry on the road. It's so inconvenient. You got to drive somewhere. So I've picked up some tips. I've started in a hypothetical universe because I would never do this in real life. But if I was to go just into hotels sometimes and just bring my shit inside and maybe just utilize the hotel's laundry stuff, that's been a good hack. It works probably half the time. Half the time I can't get in. There's like a card thing to like get into the door. But half the time it works. And if you go into a hotel one, bro, it's like $1.50 for the dryer, $1.50 for the washer, versus some laundromats are like $5, you know?
Yeah. Luckily, the one that I've been using isn't too bad. I think it's 250 for a single load, which isn't like that
Not bad.
bad. I can just take a $20 bill, get everything done, like wash, dry, everything like that. I can get any like fabric sheets, anything like that. But what I do is I just go to the Dollar Tree because like I'm pretty broke. I can just get the detergent from there. It's like a smaller bottle, but it works. Gotta have clean clothes and everything. And then I went to the thrift store. It was St. Vincent de Paul's. They had a box of like 200 dry sheets. For I think it was like $1.20. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just take those. You know, I'll basically take what I can get.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Then you become so resourceful, and it's kind of fun. Like it's kind of like an adventure because I've always craved adventure. I've always loved like movies like Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Lost, anything where I was out of society, out of the 9 to 5, just like kind of fending for myself or something. And this is at least sort of in that direction, you know? Like you have to worry about shit like where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? You know, is this place fucking safe? And these are things that you don't think about in a normal life. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
So I've actually had two run-ins with the police, like sleeping wise. I don't know if you've had the same kind of experience, but I was sleeping behind my gym, like behind the parking lot, because it like wraps around. So I was sleeping behind there. It was 1:30 in the morning. I just got out of the gym because it was like a later night thing. Like a minute later, a cop pulls up, tells me that I can't be there. I have to either go to the Walmart or to the park and ride that's like across town. So I go to the park and ride, and then a few days later, I have another cop pull up and ask me what I'm doing there. Then he goes, "Oh, I have to check with my lieutenant if that's all right." I'm literally just trying to sleep.
Right,
I'm
right.
trying to like tuck myself away in the corner, trying to sleep, trying to survive, but the police just don't like me or something. I don't know. They think I'm like a
Yeah,
criminal.
I have never understood that. I've luckily not had that many. I've had a couple run-ins. I had one in Portland, Oregon. It was stupid. I pulled into a um what was it, like a Holiday Inn, I think, at like midnight, and it was stupid. Like you never want to pull into a hotel really late because the cameras, like you're the only car moving in the parking lot. They're gonna obviously be looking like, hey, who's this dude? And so that was stupid. I pulled in really late, parked, and the cop came like at 3 a.m. Was like, hey man, he was really cool about it. He was like, you can't be here. Just go down the street, and that was no big deal. And I've had a couple times in national parks. So since I've been traveling, I've go to as many national parks as I can. And a couple times I've gotten caught where they're like, hey, like, just what you doing? They're always really nice, and I always am like super overly nice. I always put all my camera shit in the front. So if they do call me out, I'm like, oh no, no, I'm not. I'm an astronomy photographer. I'm taking pictures of the stars. I'm just waiting for the perfect Milky Way, and that usually works for me. So just little tricks, like that might help you too. I'm not sure how you could get out of it with a cop if they end up kind of getting in your space and stuff, but
I usually just pull the pity card. I just say like I'm homeless. I'm just trying to do my best out here. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to survive basically. And then they're usually like, okay, whatever.
yeah. I mean that could work. You could probably also say like I'm just like I can't go home tonight kind of thing. Like you could pull that, and like the chances of you running into the same cop probably are not that high. I mean I guess it depends like how close you are and how I mean how do you plan on staying in that area?
Lately it's been kind of up for debate. So I had a really bad day at work because I'm kind of new to the fast food industry. I've never worked a fast food job before, so I had to do the truck delivery, and then after that, I was on the grill doing all the burgers, things like that. So I got yelled at probably like 15 to 20 times just that one day because
Is
they're so nitpicky about like you put this box in the wrong place, you didn't season this enough, stuff like that. There was an order for 11 double cheeseburgers, and they were yelling at me because I wasn't doing them fast enough. So things like that just sort of make me want to walk out and find a new path. So I'm not entirely sure. Again, there's nothing holding me down. I don't have an apartment here, so I've sort of been debating whether I should leave or not.
I mean listen, bro, I'm always gonna say take that chance if it's something that's for something like that, a job that's that replaceable. I mean, you can find something else for sure, 100%. And also, you can make DoorDash 100%. You can make DoorDash your main thing. You can make a lot of money. I mean, usually I used to work like 5 to 10, probably 3 to 9, so 5 6 hours total, and I would just shoot for $100 a day basically. And I started splitting it up and doing like 11 to 1, and then working like 5 to 8. And so it's like 5 hours, and I usually end up making $100 a day, and like that's fucking plenty. And like if you can do what I'm about to say, like you could really take some pressure off you if you can like somehow be able to save or invest like 75% and just like somehow only spend money on gas, laundry, and like bare minimum food for like a month. If you can get through that and just like get a little bit of just capital, it makes your life so much easier when you don't have to struggle. Like I just pulled out a lot of money from some crypto investments, and now when I'm working, I would sometimes get frustrated about something, but now I'm fucking chilling, dude. Like I don't give a fuck. And that is such an easier life.
Yeah. The problem I'm kind of running into with that is my expenses are pretty high right now. So I actually kind of broke it down earlier. So I have a car insurance and a car payment, which are both 180 a month. Then I
Yes.
have a car repair payment, which is 100 a month, then food, gas, gym membership, everything like that. So I think for now, I kind of have to stay at the job just so I don't accumulate even more debt than I have now. I have a little bit of debt on a credit card, which I think I should be able to pay off eventually. It's not too much, it's like $1,000. So that's kind of the problem I'm running into is even if I want to, let's say I want to drive 3 hours away, like right now, like at this moment, I couldn't because I have no money for gas. So I
Hmm.
have to stay until I do, and I'm able to have that financial freedom.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Well, I'm telling you to Do the DoorDash, bro. Do some DoorDash for sure. And you said you're going to. You have a couple days off next week. I mean, that could really make it or break it. I mean, a few $100, and like for me, I remember there was something, I forget what it was. There was some kind of, I don't know if it was a deadline or what, but I needed to make like $800 really quick. And so I literally was like, okay, fuck, I'm just gonna work 8 days straight, and I'm gonna work like 8 hours straight, and I made like well over $1,000 doing that. And that's a really really good, honestly, way to make money. Just fucking sit and say, all right, I'm gonna suffer. This week is gonna blow so bad. And I mean, I'm sure I'm just saying stuff you already know, but I mean, you definitely can do it. It sounds like you're a smart guy. I mean, I haven't even broken down my finances. I ballpark it in my head, but I really probably am lowballing what I'm actually spending. I'm definitely spending more than I think, but I'm also making a decent bit. But I really should break that down. That's probably a good idea to see exactly what I'm spending.
So right now, my monthly expenses, which include all of my credit card debt, is 2120, but my monthly income is only 1800. So after I haven't added any DoorDash money to that yet because I haven't done it yet, so I don't know exactly how much I'm gonna make. But you know, I really need to find a way to increase my income so I can get above that 2120 and start actually being able to save up money.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, I mean, you got this. I mean, you just started DoorDash, so yeah, you're gonna get a few shifts in. You're gonna get a few $100, and then get that credit card paid off as soon as possible. And like once those things are down, bro, like once those numbers are down to like, I mean, I don't know what that would be once the credit card's down and you have extra money, but I mean, probably gonna be closer to like 1,500 maybe or something like. I have no idea, but like that's a much more manageable life. So yeah, if you can just make it happen and just know and accept for that for a few weeks, is just gonna be rough. And it looks like you have, and it looks like you've got a pretty good mentality, especially for someone who's doing something like this. You can't complain. Like in this lifestyle, you can complain, but it's not gonna do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it'll just make everything worse for you. You'll ruin your whole day just by getting down on yourself.
Well, like, yeah, and you can't, if you spend your time complaining instead of doing what you need to get done, you don't just like, you can't just go home. You can't just like go do what normal people do. Like you still live in your fucking car. You know what I mean? And like you're
Up
Like
pinned
against the
against the
it really
wall.
wall.
just never stops. Yeah, pretty much. Like you just have to keep going, keep pushing on. And even though life sucks right now, I have had the opportunity to have some of the like most beautiful moments of my life, different sunsets, different places I've been able to see. I went up to another town, which is like 30 minutes from where I am now, just to skate with some friends. And, it's beautiful there because it's right on Lake Michigan. So, we're having a good time on the beach, everything like that. All the sunsets, obviously, because I'm at the beach constantly. I walked 3 miles on the beach by accident, kind of. I just kept going, didn't even realize it. But when I was all alone, like in the middle of nowhere, I was thinking like I've never been more free than I am now, completely just isolated and able to do whatever I want.
Dude, 100%. I've talked about this on some of the old podcasts. I talk about this in my videos, talk about this with my friends. Like it is, I don't know if living in your car and traveling is the answer for everybody, but it is without a doubt an option for everybody, in a way where you can connect with yourself in a way that you can't in almost any other situation. Like this is the pretty much the only way, solo traveling and solo living, especially in a car, because you're really by yourself. You're really alone for the first time. Like, a lot of people feel alone even if they're surrounded by people. But for the first time in my life, like I'm completely alone physically, and it's weird. It's different, and your priorities shift. Like they have to shift, and you grow so much. You take so many lessons off this.
There was a time that I didn't see any of my old hometown friends for probably 2 months. And, that sucks. I could talk with them on Instagram or whatever, but, that's not the same, obviously. You want to be with them. So it's definitely lonely sometimes. I have made a few friends at my new job, which is nice. And basically the only reason I haven't completely just left yet because I care about them. I want to let them know here's here's what's going to happen. I might leave one day and just never come back. So I want to talk to them, stuff like that. It was basically just one girl that I've been talking to that she's the reason I haven't left yet, is because she's the only one at my job pretty much. One of the only ones who actually treats me like I'm a human. A lot of people there don't like me for some reason. They just think they're better than me, or I don't know, they just don't like me. So definitely a lonely lifestyle at a lot of times, but sometimes it's nice because you can just chill, but a lot of times it is kind of lonely.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I totally hear you there. For me, I've kind of always been, I've always felt alone. I've never really felt lonely because I think it's because I've always been alone. I just got used to it or something. But I mean, this period of your life, it sounds like you've already somehow already came to terms with the fact that you just need to accept it and just it is what it is kind of deal. But it really is that, bro. Like it really is just like let's just weather the storm. Let's just get through it. Let's just make it happen, and it'll be fine because it will be. In 4 or 5 months, you're gonna look back, literally at this podcast and be like, "Holy shit, that was like 4 months ago," and I couldn't even, I couldn't even go to fucking Chipotle because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't drive 2 hours to this place because I couldn't afford it, and like look where I'm at now. I don't have a credit card payment. Like my car is like not broken as fuck anymore, like all these things, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that all that shit happened. And then you look back and you go, damn, all that is kind of just what happened, and like that it just is what it is. And that's a cool thing, man. When you're on your own like that and your destiny is truly up to you, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing for sure.
Right now, life is kind of rough at a lot of points. Actually, before I came on here, I went to the store. It was to the Dollar General just in town. And I sort of took what money I have left. Like right now, I literally have no money. I think I have probably $2 between all my bank accounts. And I sort of just bought as much food as I can, try to ration it until I get paid. I think it's next Wednesday. So at times, this lifestyle does suck if you're not prepared financially. But the way I see it, I'll survive. I know I'm going to survive. Even if I don't eat for a day or two, I'll still be alive. Then I'll get paid. Then I'll be fine. It does suck sometimes, but I was talking to my friends about this. It was actually on one of your podcasts. If you just push through the pain now, if you lean into the pain, then later in life, you'll be perfectly fine, pretty much. You won't have that midlife crisis or anything that because you'll know not to do certain things. You'll be set for life pretty much.
It's true. Yeah. And I'm so glad you like remembered that for my podcast. That's one of my big messages. Probably my top three that I've stuck with and I will stick with because I still believe it's one of the most important things I've learned. And it's so true. If you can just lean into it and not even just lean into it, like push into it and be like, I need to feel this shit and like really, really experience this and for whatever it is. And like you'll grow, you'll learn. Like, I mean, this is like a first world problem, but there was I don't know if you've been hearing about like cryptocurrencies, NFTs and stuff like that, but it's just booming industry. Um,
Yeah.
and
I know sometimes it can be rough, like an immediate crash. Then
yeah. Well, that's what happened to me at the very beginning of this trip. I had all this money and then it crashed. And I lost all of it, and it was fine because I ended up coming back up and it was fine. But 2 days ago, I there was this guy that I follow that usually calls out some good trades, and he was like, "Hey, like there's this project that it's going for like $60 each. They're just pictures, NFTs." He goes, "Looks like this thing could probably blow up." And I went online, looked at them, and I could have bought like four of them. I had enough money, like ready to invest, and I was like, nah. And I passed it up. And today, the floor price, which is what all of them are worth bare minimum now, is $15,000 each. I was like, I was like, oh my god, I could have literally like retired off that. Like, what the fuck? I could not believe it. But I mean, it's the mentality, that you're talking about. This the mentality of just being like, fucking god damn it, just like really feel that and really like just yeah, just feel it, internalize it, and go, all right, well, I'm never gonna fuck it. That's not gonna happen again. You know, that's not gonna happen again. I've learned.
I can definitely relate with that. So I'm not huge into crypto because I don't have a lot of money to invest right now. But when I was still living at home, I invested in Dogecoin when it was below
Yeah.
1 cent. It was below 1 cent. It got up to like 20 cents. So made a few $100 off it, sold at that. Goes up to like 70 cents. And I'm like, there's thousands of dollars just out the window. So
But now
I
you
don't know
know,
how
don't
much I'm gonna
sell
do
all
with
of it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
so
think it was because I sort of had to for a bill,
sure.
but I'm not sure how much I'm going to do with crypto because I'm not that smart with it. But you know, it's definitely smart to try to keep as much as you can and not just panic sell it.
Yeah, the panic sell it mainly comes because people use money they need. Like it's not like there was some money that was necessary, and so I'm definitely I go high risk. Like I'm very aware of my situation right now. I'm very aware and capable of like if I need to make some money, I can go make it. I know how to flip things. Like these are things I've just picked up over time. So I know like if I was to lose all of my money, all of it, I'd be fine. I could just make it back. And so for me, I go extremely high risk on lots of my investments because I know the return. Like if I get lucky one time in this world, you can retire off one lucky trade. You know what I mean? Like Dogecoin, I bought Dogecoin. My friend told me to buy it about a year and a half ago, and it was at like 0.0002 or something, and I made like $15,000 off that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like if I had put in like $1,000, I would have been like 100K. You know what I mean?
Probably
And
even more than that because
yeah,
it's
it's
just
nuts.
kept going up for the longest time.
It's nuts. And so if you can like only set aside money that you if it were to go to zero, you'd be all right. But if you can handle it and just go like, well, I kind of think this might work, you might just say fuck it and do it. Like I've done that a few times, and I definitely keep up. Like I'm obsessed with the whole crypto space, and I have to be because I have a lot of my money invested in it. But I 100%, dude. If you can get some extra money, and you want to start investing, like even $5 a day, $5 a week, it is very much worth it because that's where the world's going. We're going VR, we're going video games, everything's going digital, money is going down. We've printed a third of the amount of US dollars this year for the quarantines.
2020 alone.
Yeah, bro, like it's fucking over. I mean, crypto's here to stay. It's already, I mean, Visa's buying fucking NFTs, like all the banks are in on it. Everyone's buying it. They've all just said, "All right, fuck, I guess this is happening." And so I made that mental switch like a while ago, and it's paying off now. But yeah, man, I mean, exactly how you were saying. It's just like believe in yourself, and you do. That's such an important quality to have. It's such a underrated quality that some people like you and me who I've always had it. I've just always had like a I'm gonna be able to get through this. I don't know what it was. Maybe my dad, maybe like whatever. But I've always had that, and I believe that's pretty fucking necessary in this life, especially in our life
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, for sure. I think if I didn't believe myself, I wouldn't have even moved out in the first place, just because I know I wouldn't have made it. But like, it was kind of a leap of faith. It all happened within the span of probably an hour it took
Ooh.
for me to load everything up because I got home from an 8 hour shift. Then I walked in, the whole thing happened. So I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna move on. And so life comes at you quick. Looking back, I'm like, why did I even do that? But it's worth it. Sometimes you regret it because there's a lot of pain, but then you think, I wouldn't have freedom then. I would still be living under my parents' roof, still having to do with all of that. So I'm glad I moved out. I really am. But I'm just trying to move back into somewhere.
Yeah,
Having
100%.
that roof over your head is nice.
Yeah, yeah, man, totally. That is crazy. I mean, it's weird because the way I left was so different. It was very, very calculated. It was a slow process. It was planned out. I made an entire YouTube series, so if you're really bored, you can watch that back if you want. But I had this whole thing planned with the intent to be like, okay, the day I leave is the day it's gonna be the easiest day ever because I'm so ready to go at that point. And that's crazy that you literally were like, yo, fuck this, I gotta go. And for you, it was necessary. Like I need to go. For me, I had no reason to leave. I was very comfortable. I was making a shit ton of money at the restaurant. I was working as a server at like a really, really touristy area. I had absolutely like it was the easiest life ever. I was paying no rent. I was living with my parents, and I was just like, man, I don't have if I don't push myself, like I'm gonna be fucking stuck doing whatever for like my whole life if I don't get myself out of this. How do I do it when I don't have any reason to go? And so that's what the whole series was about. That it was just me like faking like me being pushed into a corner, like you were actually.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book Into the Wild?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yes, I
think
think
Into the
Into the
Wild.
Wild.
It may
It
be
may
a
be a
movie. Is
movie.
there a
Is there a
movie
movie
about it?
about it?
There is, based off the book, yeah. So when I first saw you, it really reminded me of that book and movie. So the main character has like well, kind of similar. So the main character has a good life. He has lots of money. He basically took all his money, burned it, and moved into the wilderness to live. And that kind of reminds me of you. You know, you took a risk of moving out, even though you were comfortable, and you want adventure. That I think that's something everyone wants, is some adventure, some excitement. In modern life, a lot of people just do the 9 to 5, which isn't even a bad thing, but they just do a 9 to 5, go home, like watch TV, then repeat that cycle forever. But I think both you and I are pretty similar like that. Like we wanted something bigger than like where we're living.
100%, man. And for people who, because I had friends reach out and say like, "Yo, I can't fucking wait to do what you did. I'm so excited to do it. I'm gonna do it." And I've also met people who are like, "I want to do it. I just can't. Like, I just can't get myself to do it." And I'm like, "I hear you." And my sister has the same kind of thing. She's like, "I just," and some people are ready at different times. And for me, I got to a point where comfortable felt uncomfortable. You know, most people comfortable feels comfortable, very comfortable, so easy. And I was so aware of my situation. I was like, I'm so comfortable, and I fucking hate it. I hate everything about my situation, but it's so comfortable. How the fuck can I like redo my mind here and like make this something where I'm desperate to leave now, desperate to leave a comfortable situation? And that was the whole series. I was just like, I don't even remember what I did. I have to rewatch exactly what I did, but I just got my I like started to change my reality. I started to like transform the car and just kind of like mold my mind and start doing things and where I just started thinking a different way. And you hit a wall. Not everyone hits the wall, but at some point if you push yourself, you'll hit that wall of like it's time. You know, and if it's enough to where it offsets the comfortableness and you're like I'd rather this than that, that's where you make the jump, you know, and that's crazy that you did that in a fucking hour, bro. That is insane. That is insane. I mean, hats off to you. Fuck. I don't know if I could have done that.
Like I left a lot behind. Like I left my computer behind. It wouldn't even matter because it was like a desktop, so I'd have no way to plug it in anyways.
Could have sold it.
But I left, yeah, that's true. But I left pretty much everything behind. I just took what books I cared about because I've had my friends send me a few, so I grabbed as many as I could find from him, like all the ones he sent to me. I grabbed as many clothes as I could, and that's basically it. I stuffed into my car. I went to the Dollar General and bought a pillow and a blanket, and then picked up my friend. Then we hung out for a few hours. Then I drove to my gym. Didn't get any sleep that night because you're just not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even driving there that night, it's like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this is gonna be crazy.
Oh man. What was your thought process that first night? Were you able to even process what happened or did it take a while?
I sort of processed it. I knew that life was gonna suck a lot because there's no like stability a lot of the time. But I don't think it's fully processed even yet, just because it's so bizarre what I'm doing. Like I one day I decided, all right, I'm gonna work an hour away from where I live and just move there. And I just sort of did that like spontaneously. I just applied, I got the job on the spot. So I'm like, yep, that's my new place I'm gonna live.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it gets easier, you know, like those decisions, those little spontaneous, like, fuck it, I'm doing this. It gets easier. You know, if you can make, like, I started to practice, I put this into practice. I started to just make little things that aren't particularly big changes, but just like spontaneous things where like it gets easier for me to just be like, you know what, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do this instead. And that's really hard to get to that point because most people in normal life, it's just easier to not switch over constantly and try new things because it's not known what's gonna happen. But and I'm sure you've already gotten so used to just the idea, and you've probably gotten so much more comfortable in uncomfortable situations and shit and circumstances, you know?
Oh, for sure. There is one thing that I'm not super comfortable with yet. So obviously in the process of moving out, everything was kind of a mess. I kind of just threw everything into my vehicle. And right now my vehicle is a complete mess. I mean, there's like clothes everywhere. There's like garbage wrappers everywhere. I've been trying to clean it up. Can't really throw things away at most places because that's illegal, like illegal dumping. But one thing I've been struggling with is just cleaning my car. You know, just finding a spot where nobody's watching me clean out like this terrible mess.
Yeah,
That's something I want to do soon because it's just getting like ridiculous.
I feel
There's
you, bro.
no place. I found this out. There's no place in the city where you can park and there's shade and you'll just be alone. Like there's just no place. So just trying to find that spot somewhere has been one of my main goals. Just because if you live in garbage, you're gonna feel like it pretty much.
I hear you, bro. I hear that 100%. It's a really weird invasion of privacy when you live in your car, you know? You can't just open up your trunk because you have a fucking bed and like all your shit is in there. It's weird, you know? And I have no idea what people think. I've never looked in someone and been like, "Holy shit, that guy's living." I mean, now I do because I live in my car and I notice it.
All right, that should be all right. Can you hear me still loud and clear?
Yeah, I can. I can.
All right, I'm ready to go then.
All right, you're good to go. Hell yeah.
Yep, I'm all good to go.
Hey, you're looking like me in the car. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. You can see how bad it is behind me. Like everything is
Dude,
stacked up
hold
pretty
on.
much.
I'll show you my shit. It's the exact same thing. Hold on. It gets hard, and especially in the day, bro. Like everything is just fucking everywhere. I got bags. There's fucking clothes, book bags. I got water, fucking tissues. Like everything's just stuffed back there. And then at night, I just push all
Yeah,
of it to the
pretty
side.
much. Well, I don't even want to clean it during the day because it's like 90 degrees. Like I don't want to do that. There's just
Yeah,
no
man.
motivation.
I'm in Washington
I
right
think we're
now,
talking.
and so the weather is so much better right now. I am loving every single bit of Washington right now. Love this weather.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I can't remember what we were talking about before, but there was something I wanted to ask you. So, like, what? I think like, has anything like super weird or like super interesting happened since you've left?
Not really anything like too crazy. I think just like I guess bad situations like the car battery dying. Other than that, I've basically just been exploring as much as I can on my day off. Sometimes I'll just drive in a random direction, see where that leads me. Sometimes it's boring and I get nowhere, but sometimes I'll find like a little town and I'll stop in a little shop there. So nothing too crazy. I haven't had really any interactions with like other people, like for living in my car. So just basically work, nothing too exciting.
Yeah, I had that same thing in the beginning. It was hard, and I felt weird like talking to people randomly, and it's hard. That first couple of months, it was definitely a feeling out process for me too. And I thought it would be quicker, but it really wasn't. Like it does take some time to get used to it, to get used to talking to random people. Like it took me 2 months of trips in national parks before I think I talked to one person in a national park. And
Yeah.
I don't know. What about some things that you've really enjoyed? Like what have you really enjoyed about living in your car? Anything?
Yeah, the freedom of it is super nice. I can sort of go wherever I want, whenever I want, as long as I have the gas for it. I can just sort of go to the beach and just sit there if I want. I've taken a nap on a beach before just for fun. Just the freedom and ability of not having anyone there to say you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. I could already do this when I was living at home, but you can sort of just eat whenever you want. If I want to go to the Quick Trip, which is a gas station here, they're open 24 hours a day. If I want to go there 1 in the morning, who's going to stop me?
Yeah.
So that's super nice. It's just having the freedom and a lot less restrictions.
What do your friends think about the whole situation?
They're pretty supportive. One of them is in a sort of similar situation, but he's still living with relatives. But they're all super supportive and nice about it. I've stayed at their house a few times, but there's only so many times you can stay there without feeling like a burden or that you're
Yeah.
taking up too much. So I sort of try to avoid doing that as much as I can. But they think it's super interesting too, as far as I can tell. That's what I perceive anyways.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different for them because they're all still living at home. They're going to college, stuff like that. So for me, it's like the complete opposite. I'm not going to college right now, not living at home, sort of just doing my thing out here. So they're all nice about it though. They get it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that you're 19. When I was I mean, I'm 23 now. Um, I'm not sure I was mature enough to do anything like this at 18. I mean, I was just playing soccer every day. I wanted to be a professional soccer player still at that point. Everything was soccer back then. Do you think this trip has forced you to grow, or do you think that's already something you were kind of going through before?
A little bit of both, I think. So back right before my senior year, I was actually contemplating running away from home just because it was such a bad situation. So I've always sort of wanted to get out there, do my own thing, live my life how I want, like idealistically as possible. But definitely living the experience of not having much definitely forces you to appreciate the little things, and meeting like all these new people and even talking to strangers, definitely something I'll remember the rest of my life.
Yeah, man, 100%. I feel like I've done leaps and bounds in the idea of like finding little things to be grateful. Like I'll be on a walk and I'll just fucking like pass a leaf that I like, and I'll just like completely stop everything and just like check out this leaf and the sunsets too. I've seen more sunsets in the last 3 months than I've seen my whole life combined.
Yeah, it's like just the smallest things that you come to appreciate that if I was still living at home, like I wouldn't care about, even like going for a walk or something like that. Like that's just not something that I would typically do living at home. So getting out there, I think everyone should do, even if it's just for a weekend or a day or whatever. I wouldn't recommend everyone to live in their car because it does suck a lot of the time. There are a lot of things that you can't do because you really can't get too far from all your stuff. But yeah, I think everyone should get out there and try to go adventuring a little bit.
Well, so it depending on how long you plan on staying in your car. I don't know if you can see. I built these window covers out of like this is duct tape on the outside of it, and then I think it's some kind of like cardboard style type thing, and I just cut them to size, and I that's I would never feel comfortable leaving any of my shit in here if I didn't have these. And so depending on how long you're going to be here, that might be something you think about doing. And you can go to Walmart. It's like $3 probably total for like everything.
Yeah. Like
Um,
obviously my windows are super clear. Like they're
yeah,
just normal. They're normal car windows so anyone can see in. So yeah,
yeah,
that's not always the greatest thing. Especially I think a big part of it is just being embarrassed that like all my stuff is just like kind of thrown together, no really organization. I've been trying to, but where are you supposed to put it all?
exactly.
Like there's not a good spot that you can like set it on a table, organize it, everything like that. So I've been trying little by little, but hopefully I can get it soon because it does suck not having any room.
It's I get that. It is kind of embarrassing. And what's weird is for me, it's like this is something I wanted to do, and it's embarrassing. You know, like when someone walks past my car and they look in, they go, "Why does this guy have a cooler in his front seat and like book bags in the back and a blanket?" And I guess so. I don't even get insecure. It's just like I I think it's more I just don't feel like explaining it, and I hate that they're probably jumping to conclusions like, "Oh, this kid's a fucking loser. He's homeless. Like he probably doesn't work very hard." And I just probably I get annoyed of like the fact that they could be thinking that more than anything. But it is weird, you know. It's really weird that people can just see inside your shit and see everything like that.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that I want to get a hold of. At least I want to get it in order. So, you could say, oh, I'm mid move or something like that. That's how I've been sort of explaining it to people, just so I don't have to really explain it. Just like, oh, I'm in the middle of moving, kind of just throwing everything together. But
Yeah.
definitely something I got to work on. That's one of my weaknesses is not being very organized with anything I have.
Yeah, man. For that, I mean, you'll get little spurts of motivation to just do, like
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
clean, and like when that happens, bro, take full advantage because that's just not gonna happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the thing is, I find it very difficult to just clean one thing. Like, I can't just go, I'm going to clean the passenger seat today. I'll be like, I have to take everything out of the car,
Yep.
clean everything out, get all the garbage out of there. So I've been trying to just do it piece by piece, chip away at it. The thing with being homeless, like what I typically do is there's a lot of garbage because I basically buy food when I eat it because I can't really keep anything in a refrigerator. I don't use a cooler right now. So it's basically I buy food and it always comes in a wrapper. Then I have to throw the wrapper to the side pretty much.
I mean,
So
they
there's
they
definitely a
have
lot of
they have trash cans, right? Like in Wisconsin.
sort of, but like I'd prefer a dumpster because I have so much, but I could use a trash can. There's only so much you can fit in there, but with the laws, it is very specific about where you can even throw things away because you can't just like go up to someone's dumpster and just throw it away because that's illegal. So I've been sort of trying to find a good garbage can to throw my stuff away, but it accumulates so fast. I mean, think about it, eating 3 or 4 times a day. That's maybe 3 or 4 wrappers, and that just piles up faster than you can even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, fast food places, restaurants, mini malls. There's typically like five, six, seven trash cans on the sidewalk. You know, and so that's one option for sure. I would definitely get a like maybe buy a thing of trash bags and just like throw
Yeah,
them in
I
there
did
instead.
do that.
Yeah. But I mean, you can go to like a McDonald's. I mean, there's typically a trash can outside McDonald's, probably multiple trash cans outside McDonald's, little ones even that you can throw away shit in. And
Yeah,
for me, every time I get gas, I just empty my. I have a little trash can. Every time I get gas, I throw it away. Every time I go to a Walmart, there's usually trash cans by all the
oh yeah,
little the push things, whatever. And so I'll just dump everything
yeah.
there. How have you? Because I'm curious about this because this changed for me. How have you been peeing? How have you been using the bathroom mainly?
So I have my gym membership. Other than that, I'll go at work or just the gas station or the library, pretty much. So I've been fortunate enough because my gym has a shower and a bathroom, and I can get in there 24 hours a day. So that's definitely nice that I have access to that. But so it hasn't been super difficult with that aspect, at least.
Yeah, I before I left, I got bougie with it, and I ordered this like pee funnel thing, and I would pee in that. The problem is you got to clean it. It's like reusable, so you got to like rinse it out with water. And it was just, I was like, this is so inconvenient that I'd rather just like pee in like a bucket or something. So I was like, you know what? I buy these gallons of I buy gallons of water as emergency, and usually when I go to the national parks, that's when I end up needing them. But I was like, wait a minute, like that's a gallon of fucking space right there. Like my dick could fit in the top of that. I could pee in that. I was like, that's way easier, and I don't have to clean it every time. So I just bought it. I just every couple weeks I'll have to buy like another gallon of water. I'll usually run out just randomly, and I'll just reuse the gallon and just fucking pee in that. And it's so easy, bro. You just like I just get on my knees, like in the front seat, I just like turn toward the back of my car and just like pee, and it's so easy. And then the gross part is you have to find places to pour it out or you have to throw it away. And that's where the first couple of weeks I was like super like uncomfortable, insecure, like where do I do it? Like it probably smells so bad. And then I was just like, like there's just fucking random bushes, like not near anything. You just pour it out there. It's gross, but bro, when you're leaving your car, like, because I remember I used to walk past like homeless men or homeless people and see them just like throw their shit in the ground. And I'd be like, that's so lazy, just throw it in the trash can. But now that I'm like sort of homeless, I'm like, I kind of get that. Where you're just like, you're like, man, fuck, I don't want, like, I already have all these other things I got to do. I also have to go throw this away. And it kind of piles on, piles on. So I understand that too.
Yeah. It's a lot of the small steps, sort of, just doing a little bit better each day. Even if I can keep up with one day, then I can just move on from there. Just get as much as I can and sort of just roll with that. Luckily, even if it's like a small thing, I can get a plastic bag for it. So I'll just fill up wrappers in that, then maybe throw them into like a bigger garbage bag. Then once I go back to my hometown, like a couple times a month, there's a dumpster there that's public. So I can sort of just throw everything in there. I had like a ridiculous amount of the plastic bags. It's just like these, the like bags you get from a grocery store. I had like 10 of them full in my car. I just dumped all of them into the dumpster. I'm like, my car is so empty now. Like there's nothing in it.
Why do you wait? Why don't you just throw them away like one at a time? Just like every time you get out of your car, just grab one and throw them away.
I don't know. I think it's partially laziness for sure. And I also don't want to be questioned while I'm walking around with like a bag of garbage, like to wherever.
Nobody cares. Those kind of things.
I don't know. The police in this town are kind of weird. Like,
okay.
They questioned me first. They called it camping. They said I was camping behind the gym. Like,
yeah,
I don't see a bonfire. I don't see the s'mores. I'm not having fun here. I'm just trying to survive.
I mean, when you throw away shit, when you do anything in the day, no one gives a shit. Like people are too busy to care. You know what I mean? Like they're not looking at you. So if you want to do something like throw away all your shit, just fucking at 2 in the afternoon, you can walk straight into a McDonald's dumpster and use their dump. They don't give a fuck, dude. Like I've worked at restaurants, and like I don't like. I remember one time I worked at this place that was like rivals to like Moe's or some other like chain restaurant right across the street, and they like these 3 kids walked in once, and one of them had food from the other place, and they're like, "Oh, do you care if I eat this? Like, I'm so sorry. I know this is like your rival." And I looked at them and I was like, "Bro, I don't give a fuck what you eat. Like, I'm making $12 an hour regardless of anything. Like, I don't care." And so people who are working, dude, like you can pull up to McDonald's at 2 in the afternoon. You don't have to buy anything. Just pull in the parking lot, grab a couple of your bags, toss them in the trash can, and move about your day. In the day, nobody's looking. I promise. I promise.
Yeah. I was kind of planning on doing it with the fast food restaurant I work at now, because it's super easy access to the dumpster. There's not even a lock on it or anything. So
hell yeah.
One of these days, I'm just going to do that because it's probably the easiest, because I just have like too much garbage right now. So I kind of need to get rid of it like as much as I can at a time, just to keep it like regulated. So that's definitely an option, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would eat me alive if I had just trash bags just piling up. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely like it's way easier if you go one bag at a time than like waiting and waiting. Because I remember I did that in college. We would have like 7 or 8 garbage bags before we were like, okay, let's take this down to the dumpster. And it was so much work. And I was like, wow, if I just grabbed a bag on my way to class, like it would have been so much easier. But like those would be things you pick up. I mean, you'll find your way. You'll find the way you like to do things, and you'll just do them.
Yeah.
And
I think part of it also is the summer, since it's so humid, you just don't want to do anything. I mean, I've been in the library, so I've been getting a little more productive. But just being outside at like any point, it's like I just want to go to the beach. I don't want to do anything like physically exerting. I just want to like relax pretty much. But since it's sort of getting a little bit colder here, I think I'm definitely going to try to do a lot more work with my car, just keeping it clean, everything like that. Since it won't be 90 degrees when I'm trying to clean my car, because that's just not like
Yeah,
fun for me at all. Like
yeah.
it's just not an option. It feels like, I should do it, but I just don't want to.
I hear you, bro. It's hot. That's one of the big reasons I left my hometown. Is the fucking heat. It's humid, it's hot, and I made the right decision coming out here because like this, it is nice. Like I think the highs. I mean, after that heat wave, at least like now it's like 70s. It's like at the hottest, it's like 75, 80 maybe, and I'm like, bro, this is nice. Like I don't know if I could do this when it's 100. I mean, I did do it when it was 100 something degrees, but it's dry heat. Like what kind of heat is it over there in Wisconsin?
It's very humid since I'm next to a
Oh,
lake. It's very just like wet and
gross.
gross. So just sweating and not something I'm a huge fan of. So I try to stay indoors as much as I can, unless I want to go to the beach or want to go outside or something. But for the most part, I'm inside, I'd say.
Have you? I don't know if you're comfortable. I mean, you don't have to talk about it. We can definitely cut this, but like, have you talked to your parents at all since all that happened?
So I actually haven't talked to my father in a little bit over a year because my parents are recently divorced. So I just haven't seen him at all in a little bit over a year. He owes me about $20,000, so I just decided to stop talking to him. But I've talked to my mother once or twice because I had to stop back at home. Once for my car registration sticker, once for my AAA card. I think once for like a package that I had ordered before I was homeless. So I talked to her for like a second. She's like, "Why'd you move out?" I told her I hate it here. It's I can't live here anymore. Then I just walked back out. But I try to not talk to them as much as I can.
Yeah. Was this a long time coming, you think?
For sure. Like, I mean, it goes back to the high school wanting to run away and just live in the woods, stuff like that. I mean, I've had a problem with my parents like ever since I can remember, pretty much just constant arguing and stuff like that, manipulation. Like I said, I was working for $3 an hour for 4 summers straight. So, you know, they forced me to do that, which is illegal in many, many ways. Child labor, it's less than minimum wage, safety, insurance, things like that. So definitely not great people. I'm glad I got away from them. Sometimes you just got to do that, even though they're family.
Damn, bro, that's insane. That is insane. Um, I think it's really good to for me especially because I mean I'll just say it now. Like my life has been pretty easygoing for the most part. My parents try really hard to make it so that my life was easy, and that even lended its own problems of me just being like shit. Like I don't not trust fund level because my parents aren't rich; they're just normal. But I understand trust fund babies where it's like I don't need to do anything technically because everything's just kind of like chilling. Like I don't have to work that
Yeah.
hard. And to especially this podcast to talk to people, and I've met so many people now. A lot of my friends even who have really fucked up family lives. Like really really fucked up family lives, and it makes me feel more grateful for what I have. But it's really really interesting hearing different family dynamics. And like one of my best friends, Austin, actually I'll blur his name. I don't want his family to hear that, but like I remember one time he was like, yeah man, I left like $5, my mom fucking stole it. And I was like, what do you mean your mom stole it? He was like, yeah, she like took my money. And I was like, your mom took your money, you're 18. He was like, yeah, like I mean I left on the table. And I was like, wow, I never would have thought like my parents would never have done that. And I was like, that was like I remember one of my first moments where I was like, holy shit, like I've got it good. And man, that is insane though. Hearing other people's stories, especially what yours was, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. So right now I only talk to one relative. That's basically all I have left. It's just my uncle on my mom's side. I actually have a good relationship with him because we talk about like politics, philosophy, life, stuff like that. So I've been in contact with him talking about my situation, like just how life's going, checking in on me. So very grateful that he's there, but that's the only family member I still have left in my life, which is kind of crazy, but that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And for anyone listening, I mean, if you got it good with your family and you're not talking to them, I mean, I've talked to enough people who don't have that at all, and it's so easy to take shit you have for granted. It's so easy to take it for granted when you have it and that's like your baseline. You've never known anything else. I mean, I've talked to so many people who've had shitty family lives, and that was one of the things that led me to kind of like revolutionize my family for a long time. It was like a classic, typical white family, like Christmas card. Everyone thinks everything's fine, but me and my sister felt super misunderstood our whole lives, and there's a bunch of things that like just got swept under the rug that my parents didn't even realize. And I was like, damn, bro, like it's a shame. It would be a shame for us to go our whole lives and not tell my parents like how we really feel. So since we have this blessed opportunity where we don't hate each other and everything's chilling and they're willing to listen, I was like, it'd be such a shame because so many people, if they had my opportunities and had my situation, that'd be the first thing they do, and it's so easy to forget what you have and not be grateful for it. um what are some of those things for you? Like, what are some things that you're truly grateful for, maybe that you've even cultivated more so since you've left?
For me, it's a lot of the availability kind of stuff. Before I could walk 10 feet and grab a snack. Now you have to budget it. You have to make sure that you'll have enough money for the next time you want to eat. Same thing with running water early. I guess just the
Yeah,
availability of
water.
anything. Sleeping in a bed, my back seat is obviously full, so I've been sleeping in the driver's seat, just like lean back as far as I can. But it's just so much of the smallest things, so many of the small things in life you don't even realize you have. And I've told my friends, I've been trying to drive this into their heads, like, you don't know how good you have it. Like living at home, having food provided for you for the most part, only having to pay for like gas and a little bit of food and a gym membership. Like, God, I wish I was in that position sometimes where it's just a lot less responsibility financially and like mentally. You don't have to provide almost anything for yourself, and all the money you make from work is pretty much just profit. You keep almost all of it and you can just save that away. For me, a paycheck disappears in 15 minutes because I just have to pay everything off right away. So definitely like a different lifestyle for sure.
Yeah, man. Shit. That's that is tough, dude. Um, yeah, when you're living and you're truly like surviving, you're just trying to like make it. That's a totally different mentality. And I've been there. Mine was definitely not probably nearly as extreme. Um, and mainly because like I know in the back of my head, like if I really really needed it, my parents would probably bail me out, even though I would never ask them to. But that is crazy that's kind of your reality, you know, and it's probably something
Yeah,
you've gotten used to at this point. But
for sure. Now it's just like expected. I've almost fallen into this weird place of like, what if I just do this the rest of my life? Because eventually it's like, this isn't half bad.
yeah,
I still want to get an apartment because I can actually have a safe place to sleep at night. I can keep food there, but you almost get so used to what you're doing out here. It's like, do I really have to go back or can I just keep doing this for a while?
yo, when I
And by
get
the way, I only have like 4% battery left, so
okay, we'll
we
wrap it
might
up.
have to wrap it up
Yeah, we'll
soon.
wrap it up. I was just gonna say, like,
Yeah.
when you do get back into that apartment, DoorDash on even when you're working, even when you're in an apartment, those extra couple of days to DoorDash to get that extra few $100 a month to set aside to invest or save or pay off all your shit, I definitely recommend that 100%. And like I'm probably saying all shit that you already know, but just we can close this out on what's one thing that you will probably take back and apply to your life when you move into your apartment? What's something that you'll take from this whole experience?
I would say definitely cut corners where you can. That might sound bad, but financially, that's the way to go. You know, try to save as much money as possible, and just try to become financially stable. Even if you're not rich, you're not successful, just try to make as much money as possible so you can live a somewhat comfortable life. You're able to have food, everything like that. And definitely don't take anything for granted. I probably will in the future just because of bad habits, things like that. But as much as I can, I've been trying to appreciate life as much as I can. Every morning I wake up and I think, thank God I'm alive. I could be dead, but I'm not. So I'm going to make the most of this and just push through as hard as I can, pretty much.
Yeah, man, that's dope. Hold on one second, man. Camera just like had a spasm. I think it's because it's in the sun. Yeah, that's a great message. That's such a great message. I don't want your phone to die, so I'm gonna let you go. But guys, if you had a good time listening, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like in this video. Hey, thanks for talking. I'm so glad we connected. I'm so glad you got to share some of your story. And man, I feel like there was so much value in this podcast, and I feel like there's a lot of things that people can take from it.
For sure. I'd love to do this again sometime when I have a little more battery, because there's just so many stories, so much to talk about. But I definitely had a great time coming on here. Thanks for having me on. Kind of an unexpected thing. I decided one night I'll just reach out and see how it goes. And yeah, definitely glad I came on here and was able to talk to you.
Yeah, 100%. Dude. I'm definitely down to have you back. I'm super excited to see where you're going. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.